I know I've been saying for a long time, don't move for men because they will derail your life and ruin your career and make you hate yourself. Everybody keeps tagging me in this woman's post because they know that this is what I've been talking about since I started this platform. And this video went viral, and then she's been responding to, the comments and stuff. She was living in LA, gave up half of her career, quit her improv group, which, unless you've actually done improv in LA or New York, especially, maybe Chicago too, this is a big deal. Being on an improv team, I was on one at the UCB in New York for quite a while, where I got my start in comedy. This is a big deal. These are like your friends and family. This is your community. You're gonna be doing improv in Texas, okay? Not like this, but more on the art aspect of this in a minute. So they were together, I guess, for 3.5 years. She's an artist in LA. I think she's a musician, clearly does comedy too. And then he's like, hey babe, I want to move back to Texas to be with my family. She packed up her car, including a cat, drove all the way to Texas. Now, no hate to Texas, but that is not a very woman-friendly place. It's not friendly to a lot of groups of people. With the abortion bans and everything, like, thank God she didn't get pregnant there. Thank God. So she waited a month for all of her stuff to arrive. In another month, like she's making furniture and stuff. Ordered couches. Like, I don't know how much money she spent on this move, but I actually don't want to know. I think it would be too depressing. And what's really funny is he said he wanted to go back to Texas to be closer to his dad. That's why he got his girlfriend of 3.5 years to move. And by the way, she says in this video that he, had said all the things that so many men say, we'll be together. I see a life with you, whatever. Then go back to Texas so I can be near my dad. And a lot of, women are like, oh, wow, you're a family man. You love your dad. Most of us can't stand our dads because they didn't do anything. So, oh, wow, green flag, close to family, has a good relationship with dad. Doesn't see any red flags in that, maybe. I don't know. And then he goes on family vacation, I guess, without her, which is why, but anyway. And then comes back and writes her a note. This is like the equivalent of Carrie and Berger breaking up with her on a Post-it note. It's 3.5 years, moved your life for the, the future you thought you had. And then he goes away, comes back and writes a note and gives it to you while like, what a coward. Say it to her face, bro. Why do you, like everything about this is like, bleh. Now, I do want to share, there was a lot, like this was going not just viral on TikTok. I saw it going viral on Twitter. When something on TikTok moves to Twitter and goes viral, everyone's talking about over there, I would not wish that on anybody because it's probably going viral on Instagram and on Reddit and everything else too. Oh God, this woman, she's understanding in real time what it is like to share about your relationship on the internet. And many women are going to shame you. They're going to shame you for what men did to you. That doesn't mean that she didn't have a lot of delusion, maybe didn't have a lot of codependency and maybe pick-meism. We're all on the pick-me spectrum. And she's young. She's in her, I think, 25 maybe or something. So she doesn't understand yet just how awful men are. I guess a lot of us have to learn the hard way. I didn't realize until I started dating really, truly for the first time at the age of 36. And the first man I ever fell in love with, limerence, whatever you want to call it, almost drove me over a cliff. We all learn one way or another, it seems, either from our own lived experiences or the experiences of our friends and our mothers and sisters, aunts, grandmas. Oh, all of them were hostage. But this right here, I would not wish this upon anybody, having a breakup online. Yes, you may get some support, but you're also going to get a lot of hate. And the hate is a lot of times from other women who are like, wouldn't happen to me. Couldn't happen to me. I'd never do that. Why'd you do that? I was 25. What I was doing when I was 25. At 36, I dated a literal hobo. Like, rode the rails, cartoonishly hobo. Thinking that'd work out great. So anyway, I love this tweet. This looks like a natural part of massive heartbreak because she's making videos about, how she doesn't think it's fair and she wished she had said, no, you can't break up with me. She still misses him and wants him back and all this stuff. Oh, he's a good person. She's going to keep saying that. And so people are like shaming her and blaming her for having a natural reaction to being betrayed and devastated. And a natural reaction to you realizing that the man you thought you're with is not that man at all. And that you abandon yourself at so many steps along the way and having to figure out, like, how could I be so good at my career, so independent and all these things. And then how did I talk myself into moving to freaking Texas? Texas of all. I'm sorry. I don't mean to upset you. I'm getting a little worked up. So she is going through all this in real time. So please remember that, okay? This looks like a natural part of massive heartbreak that we do with our close friends who redirect us and tell us we are tripping, to stop blaming ourselves and to blame him. It's not until later on, after you are like done with this man and enter your anger phase, that you then are in a safe place to self-reflect and be like, how did I do that? Right? In the beginning, you need to be locked into your anger so that you don't talk to this man again, so that you can move on, so that you don't like stalk him on Facebook and seeing who he's with now, so that you can you have to go through that anger, fork this guy stage. Maybe not all, but I think especially if someone who convinced you to move across the country only to break up with you almost immediately, that sucks. That is so crappy. That doesn't mean that she doesn't have stuff to work on within herself, but that is awful. That is awful to do to somebody. So she needs to be in touch with that anger, like screw him thing, right? And that is what friends are for, right? The problem is she's going through the stages of heartbreak with social media instead of her close friends. I hope that she's got friends to go with this through, but she just moved away from them. She is isolated and alone in Texas of all places. Right? To Texas itself, but the policies there and how many gun-toting cowboys, screw your personhood, we want that baby. It's like not a great place to live for women. Anyone who is marginalized. It's not a great state for pretty much anybody but like white men. And I don't know where she's from originally, but she was living in LA. Now, I mean, LA has a lot of faults, but you're going to find more artists there, more comedians to do your improv with. You're going to find like the LA is where a lot of people go to get away from that conservative thinking and all that stuff. They go over there for job, although now that the industry is collapsing in and of itself because of AI has taken all of our jobs, and a greedy film industry executive. Not even sure that LA is where she'd want to stay long term, but that was her community. A lot, she may be able to do her works, from Texas, but her community. Now, y'all know I talk a lot about don't move for a man to another country, because it's somebody who is, a U.S. American living in France, married to a French man, but came for myself and built my community and my life here before I even met this man. And people always assume I moved here for him. And in most of the expat and immigrant groups, they call themselves expat, but most of them are actually immigrants because they're not leaving. It's not temporary. And, there's always the racist connotation of expat. Anyway, so many women are trapped. They're trapped here. Because they had this idea of like, oh, wow, he's a Frenchman. I'll just move to France and they're so romantic. And I'll go look at the Eiffel Tower and eat croissants. And you'll have like a Carrie Bradshaw experience, which is basically you come to this beautiful place and then are alone. And the man just does his life. And you're just like, wow, I can't speak the language. So at least this woman doesn't have a language barrier, but she's definitely got a cultural barrier. She has a physical barrier to her entire life that she was building in LA. And here's the thing, she's an artist. One of the things I am the most grateful for is that I did not date anyone when I was in New York or LA. Now, I know that some people want children. Some people want, if marriage is important to them. Thank God I just always centered my craft and didn't mess with men because I just had this feeling that they would either A, be jealous of me and derail my career by that, or B, just be a lot of work. And that I might, start not prioritizing myself because I knew I had some codependency to heal. And boy, was I right once I started dating. So I just didn't mess with them at all. So that's why I've had such an amazing life, full of adventure and so many experiences. People can't believe all the stuff I've done. Why? I didn't date men. I didn't date a man who convinced me to give up my career, my dreams and all that stuff. Give up writing, give up all the things that I literally am the most proud of to go follow him. I'm not on the sidecar of his motorcycle adventure of life. And I would argue that men, if you date men, are the number one barrier to you having a successful career. Because they're either jealous, they're full of drama. They will make you center them and their stupid dreams before your own, always. Now, I've done plenty of videos on this before about why it is so terrible to move for men. But it's also terrible for them to move for you, because men are terrible at making community, making friends. If they are dependent on you and, they're just sucking from your life, they are going to resent you. And they're probably going to cheat on you if they are dependent on you. So if you move for them, you're dependent on them, but they won't take care of you. And if they move for you, they'll be dependent on you, and then they'll resent you because you don't feel like a man. Because they're not and they'll just let you take care of them because they're lazy. They're all like little hobos at heart. They're on the hobosexual spectrum. They don't want to do their paperwork for immigration. Who's going to do it? You. Who's going to be translating everything? You. Who's going to be doing all the work because they can't find a job because they're not the paperwork hasn't gone there because they're not doing you're going to be doing everything. And so that's just with between countries and cultures or whatever. But this stuff happens in the States too. The United States is massive. It's like the same, almost, it's only a little bit longer to fly from the UK to New York as it is from New York to LA. It's massive. Do you know how many women pick up and move their entire lives across the country? That is how you set yourself up for domestic violence. And at the very least, isolation, resentment, there's so much that you are literally doing this. Patriarchy already puts men at this stage in terms of systemic power and their entitlement and selfishness and trying to constantly make you their mom and make you just put so much labor on you. So already you're like this, and then you move states and now you're like this. You're really screwed, right? And then you have a baby. Woo! Don't do that. Maybe you didn't want to have a baby, but all of a sudden you find yourself pregnant because these men love to baby trap you. Well, I need you to understand. I need anybody wanting to move for a man or letting a man move for you to Google the Hague Convention, especially the abduction part. If you have a baby with a man, especially in another country, especially in his country, you're never leaving. You're never leaving. And even if you have a baby with a man from another country, in your country, there are ways that men will use this to still take that baby from you to his country. Every time I do videos on this, women write to me about how men used this. And even you really better be careful where you have that baby. Do not have that baby in his country. You will never leave. You'll never leave because you have to have his permission to leave. You think he's going to do that? No. Even if he doesn't want anything to do with that child, he's not going to let you take that child. But even there's so many scenarios that women write into me about how the Hague Convention was somehow used in the third country. Now, one of my mutuals who I had on a live that I'm going to post sooner than later, she talks so much about this kind of stuff, and also, just about so many amazing topics. She's a U.S. American living in Italy, and, there are ways around this, but boy, do you have to be, very calculated. But you can't even move out of state. In the United States, once you go somewhere, I'm so glad this woman did not get pregnant, because she would be stuck in Texas probably forever. So there's and each state is different. Basically, in general, how it usually goes is if you are divorced, it is illegal to move your children to a different state without first obtaining permission from the other parent or a judge. Who do you think the judges favor? It's usually men. Who do you think they favor? They want the dad to have the bed. If you're still married, you are legally allowed to take the kid to another, but you got to be careful because then if you get divorced and there's custody, then they may take the kid back. If you and the other person were never married, there is no legal requirement to obtain permission. However, this is still a tricky situation because if you have no legal paperwork to make sure that this kid goes with you and everything, then whatever. Men are always going to use this system. If you have a better paying job, good luck. You're going to be paying this little hobo child support forever, even though he doesn't even want to parent the child. Do I believe in love across countries, across cultures? Do I believe that you can meet someone while traveling, you love your life, blah, 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 blah. Let me tell you something. If you are a woman, your chances of being in a coercive control, domestic violence, whatever you want to call it situation, or, at the bare minimum, a situation where you are asked to give up your career and your art. Do you know how many women are living in France who have master's degrees, doctorates, and are not working at all because their degrees don't transfer out of the country? You know how many women are like working at coffee shops and teaching English with doctorates, making, 12 euros an hour or something? Do not move for these men. They would never move for you. And the ones who would move for you, not always, I know exception. The ones who would move for you are usually just hobos. They're gonna move for you because you're their mommy. You're gonna do everything. You got a little tag along parasite, vampire, gonna take everything, who won't make friends and won't do anything, and is gonna be literally your child. Sometimes it works out. Sometimes it works out. Do not take this decision lightly. Do your homework. Oh God, I don't know, y'all. I have so many videos to make today about Love is Blind. I watched that movie y'all told me to watch right before bed. The one on Netflix about the game show, like a man like unaliving. Y'all, somebody should have told me what the subject was because I hardly slept last night. Anyway, I will try to make that video sooner than later, but God. Okay, but I appreciate the suggestion. Anyway, if there's anybody who has more legal advice, more things, I talk about this a lot, but I am missing stuff because I've never been in this position, thank God. Please drop it in the comments. Please follow my Patreon. That's where you will see my lives with all these amazing people that I interview, and you'll see travel content, personal stuff, whatever. And even if you can't afford a tier, join it anyway, because then you will not lose track of me because the algorithm is just like, nah, screw Melanie, one day. So, and let me know if you heard the comment song. Welcome to the comment song, riding my bike through your parked door in Lyon during the fall. Look at these guys playing chess. One of the chess guys went and played the piano for everybody at this many of the free pianos all over France where people play stuff. Hold on, listen. Okay, I'm gonna let y'all listen now. Okay, that's the song, the piano song, and my comment song. Tap, 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 tap a comment. Now's your time. The video's ended soon. And if it's standing before you're done with your comment, just push pause and like and share and all of the things because it helps my work. Let me know if you heard the comment song. Bye.